We invite you to watch how we clear the views on all matters through our partner station MITV on DSTV channel 255, 7 p.m. daily, and also our YouTube and Facebook pages under one name, Clearview News Desk every day. We call it The People's News, as we are available to come over and cover your events upon notice. Or do you have news you want us to broadcast? Send it in. We verify and go to town with it. All for you. Go ahead, engage us to thrash out those naughty issues on the news. And what we need from you is to share and subscribe. More important, convince your loved ones, friends, relatives, co-worshippers, and more to subscribe so as to be getting notifications as we break the news. Go a step further, like the news, and drop your thoughts on the comment section. Clearview News. We clear the view one time and for all time.
Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu congratulates Edo State Governor-elect Senator Monday Okpeholo for winning the just concluded governorship election. Abuja Federal High Court declines removal of Abdullahi Ganduje as national chairman of the All Progressives Congress. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, UREWA, urges federal government to fish out saboteurs, those hiding and abetting terrorism in the country within the armed forces and political sectors.
I am Imefonokun with this and more. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated Monday Okpeholo for winning the just concluded governorship election in Edo State. Okpeholo, candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, won the election with 291,667 votes to defeat his closest rival Asue Ighodalo of the People's Democratic Party PDP, who polled 247,274 votes. Olumide Akpata, candidate of the Labour Party, came a distant third with 22,763 votes. In a statement on Sunday by Bayo Ononuka, special advisor to the president on media and strategy, Tinubu asked Okpeholo not to gloat over his victory. The president said Okpeholo's victory is a testament of the people's support for the APC. Tinubu commended the APC leaders for working hard to achieve victory in Edo State, while urging aggrieved parties to seek redress in court. Meanwhile, former President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement by his spokesperson Kariba Shehu, has also congratulated Okpeholo for his victory in the election. Buhari, who described the outcome as a historic electoral victory, urged the winners and the losers to work together for the sustenance of democracy in the state. Against the backdrop of persistent high rates of insecurity in Nigeria, the National Coordinator of Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Emmanuel Nwobuko, has called on Nigerian governments to fish out saboteurs and those hiding and abetting terrorism in the country within the armed forces and political sectors. Clearview News correspondent has the details.
Statistics indicate that Nigeria has one of the highest terrorism threat levels in the world. Despite a general decrease in terror-related deaths, the country recently recorded the 8th highest number of people who died in terrorist attacks worldwide after Myanmar. Several militant groups are active in Nigeria, leading to several attacks on both civilians and the military. National Coordinator of UREWA, Emmanuel Nwobuko, said any nation that has fought terrorism for more than 10 years can be described as an unserious country.
A nation that has fought terrorists for more than 10 years We don't think it's a very serious country. Well, Nigeria is not a very serious country. A serious country ought to have defeated terrorists within 2 years. We want to go by what General Sani Abacha said, that if an act of terrorism goes beyond 2 days or 24 hours, then there are involvement of officials of government. And we think the armed forces of Nigeria, if they are patriotic, they should be able to fish out saboteurs within the armed forces and within the political sectors who are aiding and abetting terrorism. We are in support of accountability and transparency in government spending. We want all the governors of the 36 states of the Federation, including that of Zamfara State, to spend public money for public interest.
Emmanuel therefore identified high rates of poverty and unemployment as some of the factors fueling insecurity in Nigeria.
We are calling on all the governors of Nigeria, because the reason why you have terrorism is because of, we're not justifying or trying to explain away terrorism, but we're saying that insecurity in Nigeria is being promoted by mass poverty, unemployment. Most of the boys that are enlisting into this banditry and are joining terror gangs and are engaging in Yahoo Plus and the rest of the fraudulent activities of criminals in Nigeria, some of them are being forced to go into those crimes because of unemployment or because of the search for what to eat, because they are actually undergoing, mass hunger. So governors should work. Governors should work so that the rate of poverty in Nigeria will be reduced. The federal government should implement policies that will reduce the rate of inflation and the high cost of governance that is pushing people into different kinds of crimes in the country.
According to Nigeria's late former head of state, Sani Abacha, if an act of terrorism goes beyond 2 days or 24 hours, the government is definitely involved in it.
Female journalists in Nigeria have been urged to take charge of their career and overcome obstacles hindering their growth and development in the profession. The call was made by the chairperson of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, Nawatch FCT chapter, Basi Ita Igbang, in an exclusive interview with Clevis Glory Atta. Basi stressed the need for female journalists to have the necessary qualifications and skills to enable them thrive and contribute meaningfully in the newsrooms and on the field with their male counterparts.
It is a high time we rewrote our own narrative. Let's change the narrative. Whatever the society has written and kept down for women, we should change it. The time has come for us to rise above every narrative that the society has written for us. Nobody should limit you. It is only you that can limit yourself. Strive to meet up whatever the men. And you cannot do that when you are not prepared. I always tell people, see, prepare yourself to meet any opportunity that comes. Don't allow opportunity to come and get you prepared. So if you are prepared, if you are given any, like in the newsroom or in the media space at any level, if you are given work to do, you are given an assignment to do, and you perform it creditably, nobody will run you down. But when you are lazy, when you are like you cover assignment, come and keep and go home, come back to write, and you wait for people to start running after you, that is when people will start running after you, and maybe everybody wants a result. Every leader wants results. So if they give you an assignment today and you've not done it, give it tomorrow, you've not done it, of course they'll look for some other person that will do that assignment. So it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or you're a man. In most times, we are the people limiting ourselves.
She speaks further on ongoing efforts to close existing gender gaps to ensure more visibility and representation for women in the media.
Talking about workplace harassment, on a soft note, I always tell people, even in this my newsroom, that one day we'll go to court. And the day we take men in the newsroom to court, that is the day they'll realize what they are doing. But that's on a soft note. But we in our work, we try to create awareness. We do so many seminars, so many training, try to create awareness for the women to stand up. Let the women stand up. And one thing too, the women should be keepers of themselves. Let's watch out for ourselves. If a woman is harassed, what stops? Because they say an injury to one is an injury to all. By the time Women are doing it. Set up the men, let them fall, and they will learn their lessons. But aside that, we also try to teach women to stand up. Not that a man will torment you today and you just keep quiet. A man will harass you today and you just keep quiet. Tomorrow he starts it, next tomorrow he starts it. From that one, he will think you are yielding to whatever advances the man is making. Try to know yourself, try to know your worth, try to stand by yourself and talk to yourself, stand right. If a man comes to you, it is your right to report. Just shout, you don't even need to report. Because if you want, I've had cases that bosses in the newsroom or bosses in the media houses are talking to women. And by the time you tell that man, Oga, see this thing you are doing, I'm going to say it, or I'm going to tell this one, or I'm going to, he will threaten you, he cannot do you anything. As far as you have known yourself. And we have the VAP laws too. We have some policies and some guidelines and some laws that, forbid these things. So once you have known your rights, that is why we keep organizing seminars, keep talking to ourselves, keep bringing people to talk to us, bring lawyers to talk to us, collaborate with NGOs, let them share their experience, and bring people that have passed through these things to share their experiences, because whatever happens to anybody today has happened to some other person. So we encourage women to share their experiences. We encourage men to watch out for other younger ones. We encourage them to talk to other younger ones. Whatever experience you've had in the course of this job, don't hide it to yourself. Whoever that is coming after you, share your experiences with that person. Me, on private levels, I share my experiences with people, with younger girls. Share your experiences with other girls. Let them learn from what we have gone through.
The FCT Now Watch chairperson also encouraged young women and girls to explore career in media and journalism, adding that despite existing stereotypes and prejudice, female journalists can still rise to the pinnacle of their careers and be at the frontiers of socio-economic and political change the country desperately needs. The ancient tradition of writing a will before the final departure of an individual from the earth is back on the front burner in Nigeria. This is informed by the crisis that usually played out between the relatives of the deceased over personal properties. In this special report, Clayviews correspondent sought the opinions of some Abuja residents on the relevance of writing a will before one passes on to the great beyond.
When someone is requested to write a will in Nigeria, there is always a misperception. In reality, the issue of writing a will does not indicate that death is imminent. It is only reasonable that one regulate his or her family's or loved one's affairs in order to avoid problems that may arise in the event of death. In Nigeria, writing a will is subject to three main laws: statutory laws, customary laws, and Islamic laws. Death comes unannounced. Usually, it is very painful to see the lifetime effort of someone getting cut away by those not deserving it. It is possible the legacy left behind is shattered if succession and inheritance plans are not well put in place. Therefore, the importance of writing a will cannot be overemphasized. Making a will displaces the rules of intestacy, satisfies the wishes of the testator, protects the children and provides for them willful guidance, reduces litigation and inheritance taxation. Writing will before someone's death, how does it help in dealing with the issue of inheritance?
The problem we are having is a polygamous family. When a man married 4 to 5 wives, the children is to their mother. If there's no will, there is bound to be crisis in the family. But if you have one wife, and you know the kind of children you have, you may not necessarily have the will.
If death comes, because death is coming, whether small, big, or old, death is coming. So the best thing is for one to write his will so that problem will not occur.
So me, I would advise every family and every father especially, you need to write that as they're growing up. You need to start writing them one by one, so that when anything happens along the way, you know that yes, this belongs to your children. Nobody can come and claim it from anywhere anymore.
What happens where there is a will and the family members kick against its execution?
Most families who want to be mischievous always hide under certain rules of culture to frustrate the widow and the orphans. But in such a situation, it falls within the fundamental rights of the children of the deceased person or the widow in question to approach, legal practitioners for advice.
Anyone can benefit from a will. A testator deserves the right to gift his property to whoever he or she wishes after his or her death. So a relative, friend, acquaintance, or total stranger can benefit from a will if so properly named by the testator.
In a country like Nigeria with over 2,000 million people, it is easy for one to be overwhelmed by pressure from the surrounding environment. In this special report, Clearview TV's Gloria Atta takes us through the impact of mental stress on human health and the need for every individual to pay attention to it.
In Nigeria today, talks that border around mental health is continuing to gain popularity among its populace. This is because research has identified stress as part of the many factors that can lead to mental health problems and other medical issues. Mental health challenges are associated with certain high-stress occupations such as medicine, policing, students, teaching and informal sector operators. Evidence suggests that excessive demands of the occupation, coupled with low income, job insecurity, low status and physical fatigue contribute to mental health occupational hazards. Journalism in Nigeria is characterized by all these predisposing factors, as journalists are constantly faced with deadlines, overflowing email inboxes, having to journey on a daily basis to work, most times in traffic jam, closing late from work, coupled with poor salaries and benefits, and oftentimes no pay at all. Reporting certain topics, coupled with the stress and mental health strain that come from these stories, pose a major challenge for journalists. Journalists who cover conflicts, refugee stories, climate and natural disasters, violence, abuse and harassment, as well as human stories, face problems such as anxiety, depression, sleep and eating disorders, burnout, trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder. Journalists also personally face harassment, assault, violence online and in person, and have to deal with uncertain working hours. These end up taking a toll on their well-being and effective delivery of their watchdog functions. It has therefore become important to come up with some mechanisms to deal with the stressors. In an exclusive interview, some journalists at Clearview News Desk give perspectives on their personal routine in managing work-related stress.
Luckily for me, I have a strong family support system. So when I go home, I try to socialize as much as I can with, say, my siblings, and then I try to rest. Try to maybe get some sleep, cold shower. It depends on the day, cold or warm shower. And then just stay still on bed for a while. Rest, fiddle with my phone a bit. And then either listen to music or watch some movies. Or I just isolate myself or travel. After a while, if I'm too stressed, I just take out some time, a day or two, just travel or go somewhere green and just see a beautiful scenery or a green environment or where there's lots of water, something different from my normal everyday schedule. I think to manage stress, you need to even know your stressors. You need to know what is stressing you. And you need to know at what point and at what time you are stressed. You know your body. So if you need to take out the necessary time to distress, you should.
One of the ways I manage stress is that when I close from work, I try as much as I can not to allow whatever that happened during the day to follow me to the house. I don't think about it. I let go of whatever thing that happened during the day. I free my mind from it. So I try as much as I can to rest. I like doing things that make me happy, like going to the choir, singing, or just be there. I don't really sing like others, but once I'm there, I'm happy because it gives me joy when I'm singing. So it also helps me relax my nerves.
The job journalism is very stressful. In my case, what I do is to have my day planned out. I know ahead of time what I'll be doing for that day. So I prepare my mind for it. So I have my schedule. And when I'm out of work, I play music a lot. You can see my radio here. I listen to music to ease off stress.
Personally, what I do is I make out time to have a social gathering. I just find a place to relax my brain after work because this job is quite tasking. By the time from your news gathering, where you're in the field, gatherings, reports, you're back to the office, writing your stories, you pass it to the editors, the scripts editing, the video editing. You see, there is a whole lot of process. So it is quite tasking. So at the end of the whole day, all I do is just look for somewhere and relax my brain, and I think that solves it makes me calm down, make me refreshed for the next day's challenge.
We do a lot of mental activities with our brains as journalists. That's why you need to really take care of your mental health. When you're tired, you can take breaks in between your job, even though it's minutes or seconds. You tend to ease your nerves and stay away from any form of anxiety. I tend to avoid things that makes me angry. I make myself happy.
Work-related stress is a silent killer. It is therefore imperative that employers and employees have conversations that border around creating a conducive environment to enhance productivity.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja this Monday declined to remove Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC. The court, in the judgment delivered by Justice Inyang Ekwo, dismissed as lacking in merit a suit that was brought against Ganduje by the Northern APC Forum. Recall that the plaintiff had in the suit prayed the court to nullify the appointment of Ganduje as the national chairman of the party, insisting that it was done in cross violation of extant provisions of the APC constitution. Specifically, it prayed the court to order INEC not to accord recognition to all actions taken by the APC under Ganduje's leadership, including congresses, primaries, and nominations that were done from August 3, 2023. The court held that nothing was adduced before it to establish that the plaintiff is a legal entity that has the capacity to institute the action. It stressed that there was no evidence that the plaintiff was duly registered in accordance with the requirements of the law. The court also held that there was no evidence that the group explored and exhausted the internal dispute resolution mechanism of the party before it rushed the matter to court. More so, Justice Ekwo held that the issue of appointment of officers of the APC by its National Executive Committee, NEC, is an internal affair of the political party, which no court has the right to dabble into it. If you are just joining us, you are watching the news on Clearview News Desk. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State. The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome back. Former President Donald Trump says he does not expect to run for election again in 2028 if he is defeated in this November's U.S. presidential poll. Trump, 78, has been the Republican candidate for the 3 national elections in a row and has reshaped the party greatly over the last 8 years. Trump, while reacting to questions in an interview with a local media group, was asked if he could foresee another run in the event that he loses to Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. However, Trump said he does not foresee himself losing at all, but if that eventually happens, that will be it. Trump added that hopefully he is going to be very successful. Meanwhile, U.S. law bars president from serving more than 2 terms, and so Trump is not expected to run in 2028 if he wins either. In the past, the real estate mogul has really acknowledged the possibility of losing the election, more often firing up supporters with speeches and social media posts pledging victory at the polls. Sri Lanka's new president, Nora Kumara, has been sworn into office, promising clean politics as the country recovers from its worst economic crisis. The left-leaning has cast himself as a disruptor of the status quo, and analysts see his victory as a rejection of corruption and cronyism that has long plagued the country. The 55-year-old, who is familiarly known as AKD, told Sri Lankans that democracy does not end with voting in a leader while stressing the need to strengthen democracy. In a statement on the eve of the ceremony, Kumara said the unity of Sri Lankans, Tamils, Muslims, and all Sri Lankans is the bedrock of this new beginning. During the campaign, he promised voters good governance and tough anti-corruption measures. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Prime Minister Denis resigned before Kumara was sworn in, paving the way for the dissolution of parliament. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated Monday Okpeholo for winning the just concluded governorship election in Edo State. The Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja this Monday, declined to remove Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC. We also told you that the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, UREWA, has called on Nigerian government to fish out saboteurs and those hiding and abating terrorism in the country within the armed forces and political sectors.
You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clayview Desk, or via handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clayview Online. Many thanks for watching. I am Imefonukon.